That hurt. Shit.
I know. That's why I distracted you first. Same principle as deflowering virgins.
What? What?
I read it in this Harold Robbins book. Guy bites her on the ear, distracts from the pain. Never try that?
No, I sock him in the jaw and yo, pop goes the weasel. Who the fuck are you?
Name's Charlie. The spy. Nice to meet you.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to our sweet Christmas episode podcast of Citizen Frame. Today's film is another action-packed excitement, but I think a lost classic. I do think people enjoy it who do remember it, but I think it kind of got lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
And this is where I want to talk about the man tonight, which is Renee Harlin. We have discussed him in the past with our Nightmare on Elm Street retrospective, where he directed Nightmare 4, I believe, The Dream Master.
Yes, he did.
Now, I'm a big fan of Renee Harlin stuff. He's back, kind of making a resurgence with that new Strangers trilogy he's doing right now. And hopefully, he'll get some more, bites on those successes. So the man is credited with some wonderful stuff. Die Hard 2, Cliffhanger, Deep Blue Sea, which is my personal favorite, and the very, very missed timing of Cutthroat Island. And then he put together with Shane Black,
Lethal Weapon.
kind of the same surge as Renee Harlin. Shane Black started off with the Monster Squad. He's a screenwriter mainly, and a part-time actor, which he's in Predator as well. So, but he did screenwrote Monster Squad, Lethal Weapon, the wonderful, wonderful Last Boy Scout, Last Action Hero. And then he's directed Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, The Nice Guys, Iron Man 3. So
they're both good CVs, and I like both of them. Rennie Harlin, I do like some of his films, but yeah, some of his stuff not so much. I have to say I quite like him as a person. He comes across like a good guy. But yeah, Die Hard 2, definitely. Cliffhanger, it's very entertaining. So yeah, I think they would probably be his two best for me anyway. His Exorcist film didn't set the world on fire.
Well, I'm not. When we won't get into that, we talked about that. It wasn't his fault.
Yes,
he didn't direct most of it. He had to go in, and he actually had to put the stuff in that work.
There's two versions of it.
So that's the way I'm looking at it.
Yeah. Oh no, there was all sorts of studio interference, and then there was actually a second version of the same film by Paul Schrader released as well, Exorcist Dominion.
That was the original version.
Yes. Then yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah.
Then they said this is terribly boring. So they put Renee Harlin's punch in it, and that's the version I actually kind of enjoy.
That's just the beginning. Yes, I know what you're saying, but I don't think that type of punch belongs in an Exorcist film, but that's a separate podcast.
Yeah. So Long Kiss Goodnight, so you had Renee Harlin, and he kind of faded a bit because he had a couple big duds. Cutthroat Island really hurt him, and it's unfortunate because just a few years later, we get Pirates of the Caribbean. It's almost the same concept with the Long Kiss Goodnight. Long Kiss Goodnight was not a big hit for him because he was married to Jeannie Davis when he made those two films, Cutthroat Island and Long Kiss Goodnight. The leading woman action film. She was hot from Thelma and Louise. I kind of like that. I like the fact he was doing something like this. I also like the fact that Long Kiss Goodnight, just like Cutthroat Island, came out just at the wrong time. People weren't ready for this kind of action spy assassin. A few years later, we get the Bourne franchise rebirth. We get Salt with Angelina Jolie coming out. And these are all hits. And just like Cutthroat Island, we just missed the boat, pardon the pun. When Pirates came out a couple of years after that. And they're both excellent films, Long Kiss Goodnight and Cutthroat Island. And I know they've got their cult value, but sometimes cult value doesn't bring back the director's talent, and you lose. The studio doesn't have faith in that director. So that's what's happened, I kind of think, with Renee. And now he's doing a lot of B stuff and C stuff, and so he works hard, and a lot of stuff I don't like because there's no budgets, and he's filming outside of big studios. He's going to, Europe to film a lot of his stuff, and kudos for him wanting to keep working. But hopefully this little resurgence he's doing might bring some of them back. And Shane Black's always been around.
Yeah.
So.
On the subject of Shane Black and the Bourne Identity, I think he pretty much admitted that he did borrow elements for, from the original novels for The Long Kiss Goodnight, with the whole secret agent, amnesia type thing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, what he's really good with, Shane Black, he's got Tarantino started later, but Shane Black, what he does is, you can tell he's a fanboy. Monster Squad's a perfect example.
Yeah.
But Lethal Weapon, he probably looked at 48 Hours, which I think is the original buddy cop movie.
Yes, I think so.
But people kind of forget about it. And then Lethal Weapon, though, just boom, put it on the map. But what he does well is that, and we'll definitely talk about Long Kiss Goodnight, is there's a very serious tone in his films. Mel Gibson's Suicide. We'll talk about Long Kiss Goodnight here in a second with her daughter and stuff like that. He uses very serious tones, but he gets away with some very funny sequences relating to those dangerous tones. Mel Gibson's Suicide is a perfect example. Suicidal Martin Riggs.
Yeah.
And he winks at the audience. The over-the-top action. These guys are no way getting out of this. Well, they'll get out of it somehow.
Well, that's why I think he gets away with it, but it's because due to the tone, you know what I mean? And it's not even so much about getting away with it, It's about, the delivery where it's, yes, there's heavy themes being discussed and stuff, but at the same time, you know what I mean? You're sort of along with the ride too. So it doesn't get too bogged down and, frankly, depressing,
Yeah, it's not... I think what Lethal Weapon did, and I say that before Die Hard because Lethal Weapon did come on first, is paved the way to keep our 80s cheese without calling it 80s cheese, because it's smarter. It's smarter in the writing. It's smarter in the acting. No disrespect for our Chuck Norrises and our Commandos and Cobras, but these are a lot more sophisticated action.
Yeah,
sophisticated
they're more
action.
rounded characters as well. But I would say as well that the performers as well, especially with Lethal Weapon, you had Mel Gibson, Danny Glover. They really brought it to life as well and made it even more memorable. No disrespect to the likes of Chuck Norris and such, but yeah, it's a good combination with those films. Between the quirky writing and the dialogue, but also done by people like Mel Gibson and Danny Glover, who can really sell it and do those sort of crazy, quirky characters well.
Now, we're going to jump in here to Long Kiss Goodnight. Again, very simple. It's got the main characters are Samantha / Charlie, Mitch, Timothy, Nathan, Luke, One-Eye Jack, Hal, Caitlin, and Perkins. Those are your main characters, played by Ginny Davis, Samuel Jackson, Craig Bierko, who very hams it up very well, plays Dick really good. Brian Cox, who I always like to see. David Morse kind of played that villain in the 90s and the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So the film, what I like about the film, the first 25 minutes is just a massive data dump, but they do it so well. In just a few moments, you'll find out that Samantha lives in small town USA. She's a mom, stayed home. Well, she's a teacher. Very Wonderful Life town.
Small town Americana.
Santa Claus. Yeah, she's playing Santa's Mrs. Claus in the parade. You find out 8 years ago she woke up on the beach and she was 2 months pregnant with Caitlin, who is her daughter, who's her 8-year-old daughter as of now. But you get this image of her making Christmas cookies and just this, lovable, likable, happy family,
the sort of moronic boyfriend who's like a nice guy, but he's like kind of moronic as well, the boyfriend. And
yeah, he's a dork. He's a fucking
he's
dork.
pointless. Actually, I wanted him bumped off, but anyway.
Yeah. But at the same time, then we're introduced to Mitch. Mitch is pretty much a scam artist.
Yeah.
He's a private eye, but he's pretty much just blackmails him when he catches. We find out that she hired him back to track back who she is. She's hired all these different detectives. Then we find out that they found something in 1987. There was a file on her. They have found it. So let's contact her now so we can let her know. We might find out who she is. Then we find out there's a guy in a prison with one-eyed Jack who was watching the prison parade. I don't know how he's watching the parade
it's pretty convenient.
in the prison. Pretty convenient. He sees that it's her. It's our girl. He breaks out to go get revenge on her. It's a massive data dump, and it's done like 20 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's so smooth, and it's rat-tat-tat.
Also, I did sort of laugh when basically, she's basically her former life. She was this cold-blooded psycho, took no nonsense. And it turns out she's from Belfast, so I did laugh at that.
That'd be great if she had, when she comes out of her amnesia, when she's in the water,
Yep.
and she goes, top of the morning to your lass.
Yeah, well, that's not a Belfast accent. That's more like Dublin. But Belfast would
I don't know. I'll go fuck.
Everybody's me, mate. What the fuck are you talking about? I look your bollocks in. That would have been more Belfast.
Now, that'll be an odd transition for her to become Charlie with using subtitles.
Oh, yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, it wouldn't work. Yeah. Stick with Darby O'Gill and the little people, maybe.
Yeah, so here's those little subtle moments when she's driving the drunk guy home. She gets a car accident and breaks the deer's neck.
Yep.
And then she passes out. And this was where she starts having these flashbacks. I do think it's funny. She has these flashbacks, and they're like very dream-esque flashbacks, and it's kind of haunting.
Like with herself in the
reminded
mirror.
me of it reminded me of Freddy Krueger when like Renee Harlan, waking at his old Dream Master days, because the sequels are very dreamlike, and the Charlie character that she sees in the mirror in her dreams is got a very horror kind of tone to her. Very Freddy.
It doesn't feel. It actually feels out of place for an 80s, 90s thriller, if you know what I mean. Whereas you wouldn't have got scenes like this in something like Lethal Weapon or maybe Con or Die Hard or whatever. So it does feel.
Well, you're not, because you got to realize her whole thing is she's in a dreamlike state pretty much right now, and she is having these visions because of what's just happened in the action. Knocked her box a bit. So, well, her brain, not the other box, sorry. But, sorry.
What?
See?
You mean Stephen Glue or something? This is actually a very, so far, this has actually been a very sort of sensible podcast by us, what you're saying something, and then you throw that in, what the fuck?
I didn't mean to. It was just, I did, because people go, what do you mean by box?
It was a Freudian slip, as it's known.
We'll blame you on that one, Trevor.
No, thanks.
So, yeah. But no, you wouldn't get that. You got to realize she's been that massive accident, she's got that blood, out of phase, massive concussion, whatever happened to her there. And so it's knocked something loose there. So that's why she's having these images, and it's going to be horror, because the little happy, picket fences town that she's in right now is about to be taken away to pretty much a violence killer. This is what she is, and that is why you can get away with a slightly horror tone.
I know what you're saying, but I would say for this type of story, this type of spy thriller, Bourne Identity type thriller, I prefer it handled a bit more seriously, as opposed to having it mixed up with a 90s action film. And I think that's probably what jars the most with me for this film. But,
But it's only one scene.
Yes, I know that there. But I mean, for the story overall, with her being the secret agent, waking up out of a coma, basically, where amnesia goes away and she discovers she's a secret agent, I prefer these types of spy thrillers to be much more serious in tone. But that's just me. That's a personal preference.
But we just talked about why Shane Black works.
Yeah.
And
I know that.
What Die Hard, Lethal Weapon, 48 Hours. It's that elements of comedy that allow this film to get away with some of the serious tones it does have.
Yes.
But now you're saying you don't like that.
No, I'm just saying I don't think it fits well with this type of spy. It works well with a buddy cop film or, something like that.
Well, it technically is a buddy cop film.
Yeah, it is and it isn't. It's more, to me, it's more of a 90s action film. But with the whole sort of spy thriller elements, what the problem was? See, in my mind when I was watching this, I was subconsciously comparing it to the Bourne Identity. Also started with Brian Cox, actually. Actually, Brian Cox popping up probably made it even worse for me. So that was a sort of issue in my head without even
but
meaning
that's
it.
not this movie's fault.
Pardon?
It's not that movie's fault, though.
I know. I just said that. It's me
Okay, but
subconsciously.
because Born came out later.
Yes, I know.
Not the Richard Chamberlain one back in the 80s.
Yes.
You're talking Matt Damon.
I'm talking about Matt Damon ones. Yes.
Yeah, but that wasn't produced yet. So
I know, but I'm talking
that's
about.
Not fair to this film.
I know that. I'm agreeing, and I'm saying that's on me through watching this through the podcast eyes. So yeah.
All right. But it's got elements of her transition kind of nicely. The vegetable scene's kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's got this playful banter. She's playing with her kids. She realizes she can fucking cut
Chef
onions
thing.
and shit.
Yeah.
She must be a chef. And then the music's all playful. And then all of a sudden she takes the knife and whips it.
Yeah.
And hits the picture. And all of a sudden the music tone stops.
She should have just.
And Hal's face is like, oh fuck.
Yeah, she should have just threw a knife through his skull. Get rid of him. The dumbass boyfriend. But anyway.
Wow, you're a sick fuck.
No, that would have added more to this. I would have took her more serious as a cold-blooded killer, and then made a one-liner. A buddy cop one-liner would have really worked there. That's what chefs do, dickhead.
So we got Timothy, who's the main bad guy here, played Greg Bierko, and he was the one hired by the cabinet, I think they're called, or something like that. I can't remember what they're called here. I got it in my notes.
Yeah, they're basically like a sort of X-Files type government within the government type thing.
Yeah, and Timothy was a hired gun with one-eyed Jack, who we met there in prison. They have found out that Charlie Baltimore is still alive, and you need to finish the job because Timothy was the one to do the job. But we find out he's called the other guy. He has the other henchman do it. And the reason he's called One-Eye Jack is because Charlie gives him the one eye.
Yeah, he's actually the worst. Well, I mean, all of the henchmen here are terrible, but he's particularly bad. And it's a thing. I know it's a cliche, and I know that the plot has to be forwarded, but the henchmen here are worse than stormtroopers in Star Wars at being bad shots or they're guns jamming or stuff like that, and it does niggle me. But these things still go on in films these days. I get that why it happens, but they do niggle me.
But all right.
But One-Eyed Guy is particularly bad.
Happens in Die Hard too.
I know.
I'm just saying, you're nitpicking at something that's been, we all know is cliche in the business.
I know.
So,
I've just said that.
But you never bring it up in other films.
I know, but it's
I know what it is.
A lot more here.
I know. I figured it out.
Why?
You're sexist.
What?
You're a sexist pig.
What's that got to do with?
Because there's a lead role and it's a woman.
I actually, nothing to do with sexism, but I would say that Gina Davis doesn't overall sell it to me as the sort of badass secret agent and cold-blooded killer. Nothing to do with her being a woman.
Yeah, because she's a woman.
Nope, nothing to do with her being a woman.
Pig. Sexist. If this was John Travolta, you'd be like, oh yeah, I saw that. That's brilliant.
Apart from Pulp Fiction, I'm not a fan of basically, maybe Face Off. I'm not really a fan of any of John Travolta's. Well, Carrie, I like him, Carrie, actually.
Blowout. Oh, Blowout's a piece of shit.
Blowout, sorry. All right, yes.
Fever's a piece of shit.
What about Look Who's Talking To?
That's a classic.
No, I don't think... Gina Davis is great in some roles, especially the remake of The Fly by Cronenberg.
Of course that's the role you're going to pick because it's Cronenberg.
She's not an action star to me.
I disagree with that. Nah. I saw hints of it with Thelma and Louise, and then this is
Thelma and Louise isn't really an action film, though.
It has its elements, but it's not. Yes, it's not an action, but there's elements of it there, so you can see this direction why she would go in this direction. But my point is, when after the sexist comment you made, I completely disagree with you because she's playing it subtly. She's not going. You want her to go from she's a school mom, she's got a kid, blah blah. Don't interrupt. Why do you interrupt me when I'm trying to give you a fucking explanation?
Great, go ahead.
You sexists are just always interrupting people,
especially women.
There he is. There he is again.
Go ahead. Stop trying to mansplain to me. You know what I mean? Talking over me and then mansplaining to me.
Wow, you know who says that? You know who says stuff like that? Sexist. Sexist.
Right, go ahead. You were mansplaining. Go ahead.
She has to play it going from a he happy-go-lucky mom teacher to a violent serial killer, pretty much, an assassin, all right? But you want her to come out of the water when she's being tortured as the fucking Joker from fucking Batman. And you want her to go, yeah, motherfucker. That's not the way it is. She's a subtle, cold-blooded killer. That's the character. And the reason she was and the reason actually that she was going to be killed by the team is because she didn't want to do
Operation Honeymoon.
Operation Honeymoon, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I believe so. Yes, yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So she's not. You're not going to get the over the top lunacy of Gary Oldman or Glenn Close in Fatal Attraction to this character.
I was looking at intensity, and you don't really get it here, especially later on whenever she goes full on Charlie and she dyes her hair blonde and stuff. Maybe it was the mood I was in watching it. I don't know, but I just didn't buy it. I'm sorry, I can't help it. You know what I mean?
That's fine. No, I mean that's fine.
Yeah, you know who is by far the best written character and with the best
Samuel
story?
Jackson by far.
By far, yes.
Yeah, he's got the best. We talk about arcs a lot in this, and he certainly has them. But the film, talking about when she's chopping up the vegetables, and then you see her, the way she talks to her kid when the ice skating. They do a nice job of planting the seed a little bit with elements that are going to be peppered back in later, especially the ice skating scene, which I really enjoy. The action scene that is coming up. But she doesn't realize when her kid fell, she says, suck it up. Life is full of blah, blah.
Life's tough, yeah.
Life's tough. Life is pain. Get used to it, kid. You won't fall again.
I'm from Belfast. Deal with it.
So, but it turned out she did have a broken wrist. But those kind of things are just, and it's done quickly, and you kind of get that she's starting to remember, or her old persona is trying to come out, and they do that well. And I think that's where you wanted more. I do think you want a little more
intensity.
Maybe, but I think we get enough of that with Timothy's character. So I don't think we need, because he does it way over the top. I don't think we need two of them on there. But she says some shit to him, and what she does to Samuel Jackson, she does say some stuff that is, way outside the character of what we just, get in the first act.
There's also, to be fair, there's also the scene where she literally kicks him out of the car because he's no more used to her. But then she realizes she does need him for something, so she goes back and picks him up. So she does treat him like shit.
But that's my point. That's you don't need it to be spoon-fed you.
I'm not looking at spoon-fed.
You kind of do. I think you do.
No, I'm looking at more intensity and more drama. You know what I mean?
Oh, don't say that's not drama? The way she treats him?
It is a bit. That's a very good scene, particularly the scenes with Samuel L. Jackson.
Well, that's all the scenes.
Well, yeah, I know, but I don't know. I think it's down to Gina Davis's performance. I just didn't buy. I find it hard to buy her as a covert secret agent who's woken up from years of amnesia. I just think there would be more trauma there. I wanted more gritty intensity.
Well, you would think that. You would think that, but the way they bring her out, I like. Now, I like the scene where, the One-Eyed Jack shows up and they're fighting. And that's a fun scene to watch, actually. And I just love the way she breaks his skull and then breaks his neck. Fuck, it's awesome.
Yeah. Well, he deserved it because he's such a fucking idiot,
Yeah.
And, he's like the useless henchman, so he deserved it,
And then Hal sees the whole thing. He's like, okay. And then it cuts to, we're going to find out what's going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you get her out of the house, please?
Yep. So that's when Samuel comes along, and he basically, it becomes almost like a road movie, actually, in part.
It is. This is the Lethal Weapon, the 48 Hours. Yep. This is the buddy cop movie, all right? But one's a spy, one's a cop or an ex-cop. And
yeah. I would say I think Brian Cox's character and Brian Cox is wasted here. I would have liked to have seen more of him, and I think he's killed off
we've
too
got
quick.
too many cooks in the kitchen, and I like the fact he's introduced and killed. Jason Bourne did that quite a bit. They did that with Patty Constantine in the beginning of I think it was Bourne.
It is
Ultimatum.
good for the sort of dramatic side of things, you know.
Yeah,
but
and you get
I like Brian Cox, you know.
and it's decent to get an actor of Brian Cox caliber, knowing he's only going to be in it for 1 or 2 scenes, and then we're going to kill you off as a surprise. They started doing that.
The drowning torture scene with David Morse is, even though it is a bit cliched where they're escaping a bit too quick, but it is actually overall very well done.
I love that scene because remember Brian Cox plants the seed in the car that to Mitch. Yeah, I carry 3 sidearms, one on my leg, one on my pouch, and one between my legs because no man wants to feel another man's dick. Mm-hmm. So that's where she remembers that conversation. The writing is very Shane Black. He plants the seed for these little things to come back and to bite a certain character in the ass is pretty much how it works. And the torture scene's pretty nice. I do like this is Hollywood cliche, and I love it because but it goes beginning what we're talking about how you kind of get out of these things.
Yeah, it's too easy.
The body's right next to her and underneath the water.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
way too convenient. And also the cliche of instead of just killing Samuel L. Jackson, they decide to keep him alive for whatever reason, just so the plot can be forwarded. Yes, there is a lot of cliches going on. But you know what? Even in stuff like, I know I've been talking recently about, how great the Penguin is. Stuff like this happens in the Penguin. There's always people getting kidnapped by their rivals and escaping too easily. So these things are tried and tested cliches. Let's just say,
well, it has
still
to happen.
strong.
And then you've got Timothy talking to Luke there going, listen, man, she's a badass. We want her gone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No problem. So I'm actually going to take my other bad guys and myself away, and you are going to be by yourself with her now.
Yeah. Or instead of going through the whole convoluted torture water scene, just shooting her in the head and be done with it. You know what I mean? But yes, the plot has to be forwarded, of course.
But I do like it. I do like the whole scene as she's
being
being dipped in the water. It's fucking freezing. So now she's starting to come of full.
Well, you can see her lips going blue and stuff, and you can see her face is white and stuff. So it's well done. Very well done.
But it's also but that's also why her character is coming full forward now.
Yeah,
and then the final dip. Right before the final dip, she pretty much tells him, I'm going to fucking kill you now. Because now she's turned. And then as she's dipping her in the water, she just gives him a grin. Yeah. Almost like a Joker kind of grin. And then she knows right away to get the gun because she's full character now. And comes out and blows his fucking head off. It's awesome.
Okay, yeah. And then that's when basically her and Samuel L. Jackson continue their road trip, and she then becomes full-on Charlie. So she does, and dyes her hair blonde.
Yeah, she looks hot in the blonde.
I wasn't really convinced in terms of, you're accusing me.
I wasn't really convinced.
You're accusing me of being sexist, but yet you say, yeah, but she looked hot when she was blonde. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is, I wasn't convinced that she was a badass secret agent killer, even when she dyes her hair blonde. So,
oh, come on! When she walks up to Samuel Jackson and rips off she rips that Band-Aid off him, the badge off him, and he's in pain. And he goes, "Why did you do that?" He goes, "It's the same principle as deflowering virgins."
Yeah.
This guy has a theory: if you bite them in the ear, it distracts them from the pain. And he goes,
yeah.
And then she goes, "Have you ever tried that?" And he goes, "No, I just sucked him in the jaw and said, 'Pop goes the weasel.'"
Yeah, well, Samuel L. Jackson, you know what I mean? He could be reading from the telephone book, and he would make it sound great. But, he is the best in this by far. But I'm sorry, I've said it before, I just can't buy Gina Davis in this type of role.
All right.
I just can't. Yep.
Okay. There's a word for that, but that's cool. That's cool. If she had a penis, it'd be acceptable. If she had a penis, at all. You'd be like,
not at all. There have been loads of female action stars, which I'm a big fan of.
Give me one.
Uma Thurman as the bride in Kill Bill. There you go, off the top of my head. I would say, I mean, obviously you can go back to Sarah Connor and stuff. There are the sort of cliched ones, the ones that are well known.
Angela Bassett from Strange Days, Jamie Lee Curtis from Halloween, Adrienne Barbeau from The Fog. You've got Ripley, Sigourney Weaver. I can keep going, man.
But the likes of Jamie Lee Curtis and Halloween and stuff they aren't really action stars.
Oh my God! You think Jamie Lee can act?
Halloween's not an action film.
You can't say. You just said Jamie Lee can't act.
No, she can. She's brilliant.
Wow.
It's not an action role.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. It's not an action film. It's a fucking horror film. It's a pleasure film.
Films. True Lies.
Yeah.
You saying she's terrible in True Lies?
I haven't watched that in a while, to be fair.
Oh my God! You hate
Jamie
Lee Curtis.
No, I like Jamie Lee Curtis, and I think she can act, but she's not a spy action thriller star. Apart from True Lies, I would have to watch that again, though, to be fair.
True Lies, that's a pretty big one.
Yeah, I know it is, but we'd have to watch it again. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
You know? Yeah. The sexist pig.
You're the one. You're the sexist.
Not at all. Not at all.
So, I do like... it's I'm trying to figure out where the location of the house was. So when she goes back to the house, because she tells about that case 227, the case that has all the money and passports in it
that she's planning to run away with.
Yeah, so she wants to go get this, but she has to get from the charm that she gave her kid.
Yes, that's the key. Yeah,
the kid's key. And then the bad guys show up, and then Mitch is driving through the streets of the small town in the car chase, which works actually. It's nice there's a small town and there's actually cars they're trying to maneuver away from. It's not empty streets. But but she can't get to him in time, so she's got to put the skates on and skate across the lake. So I'm trying to figure out how big this fucking lake is. Yeah. And she's skating, then she obviously blows. She aims for the tire and then takes them all out. There's something about that scene I really enjoy. As much as it's over the top. It's kind of like the sequence with when they go to that city hall building when they first meet and they try to plant.
I was just thinking that there. Yeah, the issues I have with these types of scenes, yes, they're over the top. It's not with Gina Davis actually. It's with the absolutely rubbish henchmen, who are just basically
no. These guys are these.
Completely useless.
Yeah, they are bad. None of them hits them. But I'll piggy. But they do. I do like when they throw the grenade. No, I'm not a grenade expert. Okay, by any means. But it was a pretty big. It was a small grenade, right? And so when it goes off, the whole building is like napalm, and then they jump out the window, which I do like because again, it shows they have to do it because they want to show how cool she is under pressure. And she shoots the glass and then the ice below her. It's a good scene though. But yeah, it is.
I would have liked to have for the film to have had more scenes with her and the main bad guy, who is basically the father of her child, as it's revealed, because that scene where she reveals to him is actually very well done and very dramatic later on. I'd like to have seen more scenes with those two, because what we did get was actually very strong and some of the strongest stuff of the film.
Yeah, but I don't think you needed it because he's a sociopath, so there wasn't much to go with on that one.
I wanted him to redeem himself, seriously, in terms of...
How?
But because he's realised he has a daughter. That would have been a good arc where he...
That would have been the stupidest movie ever.
No, I'm not talking about... I'm talking about before he dies, because obviously he has to die. We all know that there. But he has one final glimmer of humanity or something where...
He does in that scene, and you missed it.
Yeah, no, I did. I caught it.
No, you missed it.
I caught it. Yes, but I would have liked more. I wanted him to redeem himself, by sort of with his final act before he dies, because we all know that he has to be bumped off for him to do something I don't know, kill the other bad guy. The guy who was sort of who had employed him. This undercover government thing that we're looking to create, basically a terrorist attack, so they get blackmail Congress. So maybe something like that, just a little sort of glimpse. Now, I'm not talking about a full redemption and to go away and live together.
Okay. It would be stupid as hell if they did that, because this guy's
that's not what I'm talking about.
Like when he kidnaps Caitlin and the woman in the church sees him doing it, and he puts a knife to the woman's kids, and he goes, "You say one word, and you'll have about 2.4 children left."
He's actually quite good in the role.
Yeah, I like him. Spicy, he never really took off. Didn't do much. He does a lot of
Apart from
comedy.
Samuel, he would definitely. Yeah. No. You can see that he sort of has a sort of bit of a sort of knack for comedy as well. The way he sort of hamming it up a bit.
I do. Yeah, well, we'll stick with him because he makes it. I mean, the lines are so over the top. So when he says we're going to go to Niagara Falls, and then this is where she remembers Operation Honeymoon.
Yeah.
And he goes to her on the phone. You fuck with me, I will blind the kid and shoot out her knees.
Yeah. Oh no, he's a bad bastard. Yeah.
It's so over the top, but he does it so straight. Usually, if you get like Gary Oldman, he'll jump out and just go, batshit crazy on you, right?
But the best comedy is played straight.
Yeah, he's very subtle at it, very subtle and just reserved. Now, when I like the scene, you talk about having special moments in the film. You do get them, but they're only a glimpse because we don't want that. We want guns and killing. But they do put it. There's a scene where she just realizes it's just not Timothy and his team. It's a whole fucking army. Mm-hmm. So she knows she's dead. And she turns to Miss to say goodbye. Yeah. And she goes, they're gonna say goodbye to me because they're gonna blow my head off. This is the last time you'll see me pretty. But I think that kind of, now again, I'm probably giving the writer too much credit, but I do like Shane Black, so I think there was a little double meaning in that comment. I think what she meant was that either she's not going to make this and goodbye, but the other one is she's no longer
her personality.
She's no longer that person anymore. She wants to be Samantha. Yeah. And that's why she says, I'm no longer going to be this pretty. Yeah. So I think there's, a double meaning there. But it was quick. A lot of people won't catch it. And it's probably about a sentence long. But that's where we talk about the Timothy scene coming up here. So this is where it just goes balls to the wall crazy. The rest of this film is balls to the wall fucking insane. And I fucking love it. Every moment of it. It's so... But I do like... This is what I do like. Just like Bruce Willis and Die Hard. These guys aren't coming out clean and all, I got a sweat. Ooh, I got a splinter. These guys get their ass handed to them. Yeah, but you go with it. It
is over the top and stupid, but it is a big, explosive 90s action finale. Yeah, they even throw in a ticking bomb. Why not?
Well, this is where I think the film plays, what I mentioned in the beginning, it plays with the cheese facto from the 80s, which Shane Black started with. Mm-hmm. You got that in Lethal Weapon as well. So it keeps that 90s edge with some of the darker lines, kids involved now, and a troublesome backstory. But then you fucking just go to town at the end. You're like, fuck it, let's just blow everything up. Yeah. And that's what we get. Now, little things like when Perkins, the head of this whole thing, gives Caitlin that doll, that doll comes back into place. Yeah. The candle
from the refrigerator thing.
Yeah, the candle with the matches. Yeah. That comes all back into play. These little touches they pepper in the beginning of the film all come back into play. Now, when she's trapped in the freezer, right? Uh-huh. And she tells Timothy, you're not going to kill your own kid. Well, she doesn't really say that. She says, look in her eyes. Yeah. She's yours or something like that. And so he grabs her and, okay, let me see this little, bring that little bitch over here. It's like, damn, dude.
It's your daughter?
And, yeah, I know. And he looks at her and for a fleeting second, he looks at her eyes and he says, fuck, she is my kid.
Yes, because
there was a moment right there of humility. I mean, a split second.
I remembered. Yep, and it is well done. Gina Davis says basically, you don't believe it's your daughter. Basically, check out her eyes. She's got your eyes, and that's when he looks into her eyes and he realizes it. Yes, that's the sort of stuff I was talking about earlier that I would have liked to have seen more of.
Why? We don't need it.
Because just to give us more dramatic weight.
Oh, dear God. What do you want me to cry?
I know you prefer...
As he's closing the door on him?
You just want bombs and explosions and grenades and henchmen that couldn't have had a fucking sitting duck. Fair enough. But I was just looking for something with a bit more sort of weight on top of all of that.
You need a spoon fed or something. That's cool.
Not at all.
No, you do. Don't worry about it. No, don't worry about it.
Not at all.
Sexist, spoon fed action film. Got it. That's got it.
You know, this is the thing with this here. I don't think it quite. There's too many stuff. There's too much sort of stuff going on with the script. You know, is it a body cop drama? Is it an action film? Is there dramatic stuff?
Yes.
Yes. But
You're explaining.
I would like to.
You're explaining Lethal Weapon right now. You're explaining. Let me finish. You're explaining Lethal Weapon and Die Hard right now.
Yeah, but I would like for it to have been more focused on one. Yes, it's the same as sort of Lethal Weapon, especially the first couple and stuff. But yeah, I would have liked more moments where you catch your breath and there's a bit more of a dramatic sort of element.
There's plenty of it, especially with Mitch and her. When he even tells her, "I don't like you. I don't like this side of you." What happened? I want to burn the cookies. I want he even tells her that. You get it. Then you get small little glimpses of it. That's all you need. It's all you need. But again, that's cool. You want a Hallmark moment, and maybe I spoiled you with Christmas in Dollywood's. So maybe that's your problem. Maybe you're spoiled because I
was
gave you
looking
that
proper
treat.
Drama, not just.
So, no, it's
along
okay.
with the explosions and stuff. And don't get me wrong. I mean, I like my sort of craziness as well. You know what I mean?
There's plenty of it. You just didn't see it.
Right. Okay.
You didn't.
Right.
She wanted to get rid of the kid. She's going to an abortion. She had. There's a bunch of these fucking elements in it.
What?
Bunch of these elements in it.
Oh, right.
What's when you're laughing?
I know, but
she got amnesia. She didn't realize what was going on. But the character that she was didn't want the child.
No, it's to do with the delivery of it.
I noticed it.
Yeah, no, I know it's there. Obviously, you know what I mean. Obviously,
you didn't know it. You didn't know it was there.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. But no. What I'm saying is to do with the delivery. It's not delivered as well here as the previous ones I mentioned.
Anyways, sorry about the sexist rant.
Yeah, by you.
No.
She's hot when she's blonde.
Damn right. So when he leaves them in the locker, I do like the line when she looks at him and goes, "You're going to die screaming, and I'm going to watch." I love that. That's a good line. But so she's got that plan. I won't go to details to get him out. She just needs a little spark because that whole room is gasoline outside.
Literally a spark. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all she needs. But anyways, again, data dump. There's Tim going, "Okay, Samuel, this guy's the luckiest bastard. He sees me. He's the last person they're going to kill."
Yeah.
So he goes, "Yeah, you're going to give you a choice. Do you want to die by knife or do you want to die by the gun?" And then as he's about to kill him, she sets off the explosion in his chair.
How convenient. Yeah.
That's the whole point of though. He flies through it.
Yeah, I know that there, but there's also parts where where the bad guys go, "Well, you're going to die anyway, so I might as well tell you our dastardly plan."
That's every cliche in every action film, and I'll fucking take it. It started with James Bond
villain. Yeah, James Bond villain cliche.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we meet again, Mr. Bond.
Oh my God. So he's pretty much dead, and she's pretty much dead. She's hanging on, and the little kid Caitlin runs into the little truck, as we know. But this whole sequence where he's going to sell again. We talk about arcs, and all joking aside, Samuel Jackson does have the best because here's a guy who did steal bonds when he was a police officer. He was in prison for 4 years. Has tried to do a little better, but he really hasn't. He's still a con man playing a PI. His
redemption arc.
Kid. Yeah, his kid. We see a scene with his kid. And I like the part where when he goes to see his kid and he goes, "Daddy, I can't take the toys because they're probably stolen."
Yeah.
Mama, and there's a moment there where you really feel sorry for Samuel Jackson. And the great thing about Samuel Jackson, the way he sells it is, he doesn't go off like a cliche, "Oh, woman, why don't you take my, blah, blah." He understands why the mom won't take it.
Well, but he can do subtlety. Yes. Yeah.
And that's
of course, part of the writing as well, of course, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I do like that she's got his back. She's doing all the snipering. As
well, it is.
Get in the truck.
And it is a sort of a buddy cop sort of, well, any sort of double act sort of cliche, but it works. It does work well here. Where at first, even when we go back to even romantic comedies, where at first they don't get along, they hate each other, but then they grow to respect each other, and eventually they're a team.
That's yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's fair enough.
Hey, God, she's in the truck, and this truck has the bomb. So they want to cause a fake terrorist explosion because they're not getting the funding they want. So they want a
blackmail
attack.
Congress. Yeah.
So
it's actually quite eerie, this, actually, in terms of, I know this was released in like 96 or 97, I think, but what they're talking about, there's talk of, faking terrorist attacks on Twin Towers and stuff. So it's quite...
that did happen in 92.
Yes, I know that there, but it just, with it happening obviously again in 2001. Yeah.
I didn't, but it's just a film, so I'm not going to read beyond that.
No, but obviously.
So she gets in the fucking truck, and the brake fluid's been hit, so it's all, it's leaking out, and she's on a hill.
Yep.
So she can't stop, and then she decides, I'm just going to hit the fucking wall, and she's just suck my dick.
That's right here. That's the best line in the film.
That's a good line. It's a good line.
Yeah, there are some really good one-liners in this, actually, but that's the best.
I do like the fight scene between her and Timothy. He's pretty much got her. He's knifing her pretty good. This is where she's almost dying, but then he falls. There's no way he survived this, but what the hell? He falls, and his hand comes out of the water from the icy grave.
But you have to get final scar,
We need that scream moment, right? Isn't that what he says? The screaming moment?
The final sort of scar, yeah. Where the daughter... the previously dead bad guy returns, When
they get the daughter, and the daughter's giving her, life is pain, Mom. Life is pain.
Replaying that there. By the way, the young actress played the daughter's terrible, but it's an 80s and 90s film. You got to expect that.
I don't think she was bad. I don't like kids, as you know, but she was all right. She didn't bother me. I never rolled my eyes. Well, she's a kid.
I know, but I'm just saying. I didn't buy that scene. Let's just say,
So, as she's dead, her eyes are open, but she's dead. Clearly,
yes.
She's by the power of Caitlin's love.
Yep, love saves the day.
And then there's 2 minutes left. Here comes Mitch.
Yep.
Who I thought was dead. He comes crashing through.
Well, he does an 18 moment where the car jumps through. I don't know, like a truck or something. Yeah.
and then here comes Timothy. He coming up with the helicopter. And I do like when she sees one of the guys who had his gun hanging from the Christmas lights when he fell.
Yes.
She cuts it, grabs it from him, and obviously kills our boy.
Yeah. With like 1 second to go before the bomb explodes.
That was good stuff. And then she gets the money. She kills a grasshopper at the end. Mm-hmm. And Mitch gets to go on Larry King Live to spill the beans to bring down everybody.
Yeah, but he's also then earns the respect of his ex-wife and son.
That's right. That's the important thing.
Yep, exactly.
Strong.
Yeah, I mean, there is some good stuff here. Overall, I would say I'm on the fence. I have to be honest. I don't dislike it. It is what it is. And there's some very good stuff here. Some incredibly stupid stuff that did bug me. So, being honest, on the fence.
All right. Seeing it from a non-sexist point of view, I
Oh, go ahead. You're going to mansplain again? To our female listeners?
You said it didn't work. It's unfortunate. I do think
parts of it, not all of it. Not all of it. Parts of it.
Let me finish, please.
Oh, so you're mansplaining again? Go ahead.
No, it's just you interrupt when I'm trying to give my review every time. I hate live people. This is why. It's Trevor. Yeah, I'm saying it right now.
Naughty.
Oh, dear God.
Go ahead.
Anyways, so, and all the elements work. It peppers in the little Easter eggs that are going to be coming back to you. The action is fucking bullshit crazy. It's actually quite subtle in the first 3 quarters, and then obviously we go all batshit crazy at the end, which I kind of like that. So it was kind of like a pop boiler with the action. It kept getting, as she became more of her true self, the action got upgraded as she changed. So I thought that was kind of cool because she wouldn't be as action crazy because she wouldn't have that element in her mind yet. So I liked the subtlety of that and how they handled the action. I liked how they handled all the characters in general. Nice little cameo, Brian Cox, David Morse. They all had a part, but the part had merit. So, and it goes without saying, Samuel Jackson does steal the movie, and so does Greg Bierko, who plays Timothy. But they all came there to do the jobs, and they done it. And I haven't seen this in a while. I'll pleasantly watch it again. So massive pass for Long Kiss Goodnight. So there you go. We're going to wrap this one up. This is way too fucking long. I'm going to edit some of this, and we're still going to be too long. But you know what? It was a good opening. We talked about cool people. Ray Harlan, Shane Black. We got to reminisce about Die Hard and Lethal Weapon, which we do pretty much every podcast. But it's all good fun. All right, listen, thank you guys. So that's it. Guys, give us a shout at CitizenFrame_podcast on Instagram, and of course, Facebook. The new issue of Phantasmagoria is out now. Go get it locally here at Belfast at Forbidden Planet, and of course, worldwide on Amazon.
Yep.
That's all I've got. We're ending this one because Trevor's upset me. And I apologize to all of our lady listeners for a sexist rant.
And Kieran's mansplaining to you. There you go.
All right. All the best. Out of here.